All right, everyone, welcome back to Mac Street Garage. As you can see by the thermometer on my porch, we're already sitting at 30 centigrade or 88 Fahrenheit. So, yeah, it's going to be hot today. Woo! I think we went from winter right into summer. Ugh. All right, welcome back to Mac Street Garage. I just put another coat of primer on the other tires, just giving it a chance to dry. Brought out the original spare tire, or spare tire rim, that I had previously painted chrome. Now, I didn't go into great detail in sanding it down like I suppose I should have. I just wanted to see how well it was going to look. But I would say the chrome actually looks pretty good. The only bad part was I left this outside to dry, and we had one of those Florida pop-up showers for about 10, 15, 20 seconds, and it made little water droplets all inside the, you can see here, I get closer, you can see all the little water droplets inside the paint. I tried rubbing that out, and it really isn't going to work. So I'm guessing maybe some 800 grit wet sandpaper, sand this down, shoot another coat of chrome on it, and it should probably look very nice. Now, the one thing I have found through my experimentation is, even if it's the same manufacturer of paint, if you put a clear coat on chrome paint, it almost immediately turns it gray. And I don't understand why it does that, but it does. So I would imagine if you, with this chrome paint, sand it down with some 800, 1200 grit sandpaper, shoot another coat of chrome over top of it, maybe do that 2 or 3 times, you get a nice deep chrome paint that should shine very well, because you can see, as dull as it is now, it still shines very well. Now let's take a look at the other rims that I painted. 2 coats of primer, and then decide what color I'm going to paint them. All right, this is the other driver side front wheel. 2 coats of the primer on that. I'm thinking, do I want to go the chrome, or do I want to go with yellow rims? I'm not quite sure, but let's take a look at the other rims to see how they turned out. All right, here's the driver's side rear. Did a really good job on that. I don't see any rust coming through. You can usually tell within the first 24 hours if you didn't get enough primer on the metal, that the rust will start showing through. So now I just have to decide again what color I want to paint these rims. And here is the passenger side rear rim. I don't know how well you can see that. The sun is shining right above us. But again, I don't see any rust spots. That's a good sign. So yeah, as I said with the other 2 rims, what color am I going to paint them? Let's see what I have to experiment with. Okay, going through my paint that I have in my shed, in my Comet Cave, I found that I still have 2 cans of this Duplicolor Metallic Series chrome paint. So what I can do is take some of my 400 grit and maybe even 700 grit wet sandpaper, wet this down, make it as smooth as I possibly can, shoot a couple more coats of this chrome on, and see what result I have. If I like it, maybe I'll make all 4, or rather all 5 rims chrome. But like my buddy up in Nova Scotia says, chrome don't get you home. But anyway, the other color I was experimenting or thinking about is this Duplicolor Candy Apple Red, because the original colors for the Jeep that I had chosen were gray and crimson. The gray will probably be a metallic as well, because if you look at this, you can see that it is a sort of a candy apple red, which you see on a lot of the Mazdas and the Ford cars. So I'll take this paint this rim the red anodized color, see what that looks like. Get the wet sandpaper, sand this down a little bit smoother, get rid of all of these little bumps. A couple more coats of chrome on that, and then we'll see what happens. So this may take a while, but I'll be back in a flash. The tire is now up on the front porch, cooling off. I want to give it about an hour because these are solid steel rims, and it'll take a while for them to cool down. I just wanted to have it as cool as possible, so when I spray this anodized red paint on there, it'll do a much better job at sticking. Because if it's too hot, of course, most of you know that it'll dry too quickly and it'll be splotchy. And there's the chrome rim also cooling off. I'm not going to paint it where it sits. I have some cardboard and stuff and some paper that I can use as a backdrop. But I'm going to have to sand this one down, wet sand it down with some 400 and 800 grit sandpaper. Get that surface as smooth as I can to see how well this chrome metallic paint works. It's been just about an hour and a half, so I'd say this is cool enough. Just going to touch it with the back of my hand. Oh yeah, it's cool enough. Again, this is just an experiment to see if this red anodized paint is something that I want to use. And of course, anytime you paint, I mean, you guys all know this, but for those of you that don't, put the first coat on light. Don't try to cover everything at once. Do your best you can to cover everything at once, but you can come back later with a second or even a third coat to finish it off. The lighter the better, the more the better. Okay? Let's get some spraying done. Wow. I like the way this stuff covers. As you can see, you still see some lighter areas right there. Just went over it once. Kind of just make circle, start at the outside, work my way in, and just did around the inside. So I want to let that sit for about, I want to give it 20 minutes. So put my timer on, and I'll be back in 20 minutes. Now while that red paint is drying, I'm going to come over here with some water dry 400 grit sandpaper. Just lightly buff this out. See if I can get some of these bumps that the rain created out before I shoot another coat of the chrome on there. I think it's going to work out very well. Let's just see what happens. Now you notice I'm not using my tripod to hold this all still because I think we all know what we're doing. We just like to see how somebody else does it, and maybe we can get a better idea. So stand by. Well, that looks like it's scuffed up pretty good. It is nice and smooth. You can see dents and dings from the rim. If I really want to get this show quality, I could take it down, have it bead blasted, use filler, fill it all in. But then again, that would throw the balance of the tire off. And yes, even if it only goes 45 miles an hour, you need to balance the rims and tires. Otherwise, you'll be bouncing around like a bubble in a piss pot. But anyway, so let's go ahead and spray some chrome on this and see how this works out. Okay, here we go with another coat of that chrome. I turned the light on my phone so you can see that just that little bit of sanding made all the difference in the world. So this I'm going to let dry for half an hour before I put another coat onto it. But I think this is going to look actually really nice. So look, oh, there you go. Okay, here's the second coat of the red. You can see I still need to get down in here, which is what I thought. I probably should have sprayed those areas first, but I'll get those. Give this another, I'm going to give this 30 minutes to cure, just like I did the chrome that I just painted, and I'll be back in 30 minutes. Oh, look at this. After the sanding with a 400 grit sandpaper and 3 coats of the chrome, some of the little divots filled in. You can still see some of the other ones, but this is a steel rim. If I wanted to make it look real nice, I could use Bondo and fill in all those holes, but I'm not going to. I think I'm going to leave it just like that. It's not going to be a show Jeep, but it'll be a nice Jeep to show off. Now let's take a look at what happened with the red. Okay, there's that candy apple red anodized paint. It may look nice from a distance, but as you get closer, you can see where the runs are. I believe that this paint does not like to be overcoated while it's still wet. If I were to do this again, I would spray one light coat, give it 30 minutes, come back, spray it again, give it 30 minutes, and however many coats I would decide to use, I would give 30 minutes minimum in between the runs. Otherwise, you'll get the runs. Something else that I realized, that red has a tendency to disappear at night, and that's why the military tend to use red lenses on their flashlights, so they're not easily seen at night. This Jeep only has a top speed of 45 miles an hour, so I think I really want to be seen at night. So instead of the red on the rims, I think I'm going to go with the chrome. I know it's not shiny polished chrome, but I bet if I let this cured for a week and then took some Turtle Wax paste wax and hand waxed this rim, it would shine like there's no tomorrow. So the chrome paint is where I'm going to go. If I use that paint again, I'll use it on the body somewhere. Just because I'm not really liking it on the rims. So that's all I'm going to do today on the rims on the CJ2A. Thanks for watching. Be good to yourself. Be nice to each other. It's time for me to get out of the sun because the phone is giving me the warning that it's getting too hot. The temperature outside right now, 90 degrees. Again, I think we skipped spring and went right from winter into summer. Bye. Now, as I wait for the rims to dry, I'm standing here looking over my salvage yard. And my wife doesn't call it a salvage yard. She calls it projects in progress, which you got to love her for, right? I think I got a winner chicken dinner here. Anyway, what I want to do is get the wheels back on the Jeep so I can push it over here and then take the engine hoist with the two 6-cylinder motors that I have for the Comet. I haven't decided which one is the better one yet. I haven't torn either one down. But get at least those two motors out of the Comet cave into the lean-to, just so I can have a space to either push the Comet into or push the Jeep into, depending on which car I want to be working on that day. Since I'm retired, I really don't have a whole lot to do during the day, so it'll be a good thing. So, let's go in the house right now, get something cold to drink, and watch some Detroit Muscle car repair shows on the television, and see if I can learn anything from those guys. So stand by. I'll be back in a moment.